Welcome to the second Alumni Rebound Podcast. We're here with Joseph Franklin. Excited to talk with Joseph. We met when he was a student here and excited to reconnect here. So Joseph, we're here to learn about your sort of path. What was life like, after graduation? So I want to just open up and can you give everybody just a background on you, where you're from, family, major, all that, just sort of give us the lowdown on you.
For sure. So I was born in Fredericksburg, Virginia, so about 2 hours east of Harrisonburg. Grew up in a family of 6 brothers, 4 brothers, 2 stepbrothers, and then 1 sister who's 14 years old. So I have a twin brother. We have older twin brothers, and my mom's a twin, so a bunch of twins in the family.
Okay. That's sort of a thing though, right? Twins happen. Like if it's in a family, it's almost guaranteed it's going to happen again.
Yeah. So who knows?
Okay.
But yeah, so graduated high school in 2016, went to James Madison in the fall of 2016. I was coming in with a kinesiology major. However, I ended up switching because I realized that I wanted to be an athletic director after college. So I switched to sport and recreation management with a minor in business. However, halfway through college, I realized that sports aren't the route I want to take. Ultimately, my aim in life is to glorify God through whatever I do. So I spent the next 2 years going on paid mission trips to Nashville. Summer going into my junior year, I was in Nashville for the whole summer. And then summer going into my senior year, I was in Niagara Falls. So that was both of those times were awesome experiences. I was able to work with different teams, so got to figure out about my personality as well as these other people's personalities, how to work well in teams, which is very beneficial for any organization down the road. So went into my senior year, and then, as you all know, COVID happened. Yeah. So in March of 2020, I got sent home. Ended up finishing the rest of my semester online. And then in June, I left for Ligonier, Pennsylvania, which is about 50 minutes southeast of Pittsburgh, which is a really nice scenic area. Small town, so it's hard to find some stuff to do every once in a while. There's a lot of hiking and biking that I can do, but thanks. I was working with this camp last summer for my internship with JMU. So as soon as I finished that in August, I received my diploma for August 2020 grad. And then at the camp, they offered me a year-long internship. And at first I didn't want to do it because I had spent the whole summer trying to find a job, and almost every job was emailing me back telling me, yeah, we're not looking for anybody right now because of the situation that we're in right now. So I decided that this would probably be the wisest decision for me. I live on the camp property right now. I started in September. So as of right now, my rent is free.
Nice.
We have a lot of groups that come on the weekends, which I help facilitate. We had a day camp in the fall, so middle schoolers were coming. We were doing recreational opportunities with them. So all kinds of different games like laser tag, gaga ball, anything you could think of. We were rock climbing with them and making them work too. So a lot of facilitation of work projects, which was really cool. And then now we're heading towards the spring, so we're more focused on preparing for the summer. So last summer it was crazy that we even ran camp.
Right.
So back in Virginia, every camp was canceled. But in Pennsylvania, just the governor's mandates allowed for this camp to run just with certain requirements.
Sure.
So we always had to wear masks. We always had to stick in specific bubbles so that certain people in different groups didn't interact with you. but we ran the camp with about 500 people. And then that was about a quarter of what they usually get. So they usually get about 2,000 campers each summer. The camp is called Ligonier Camp and Conference Center, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Sure. Okay.
But this summer we're shooting to have about 80% capacity. So been doing a lot of cold calling a lot of families, checking in, seeing if they're sending their kids to camp. We had a group come this past weekend for snow camp. Snows a lot up here.
Yeah.
Just like Harrisonburg.
Yep.
So it's awesome. But yeah, we had about 100 kids come, and we did basketball, a couple other games with them, and then they left on Sunday. So
okay, nice.
Yeah.
So Joseph, can I take you back to graduation for a second?
Of course.
So I know you still had the internship, but you graduated in May, right? Like, you think of yourself as a May graduate, really? Like,
right. I would have walked in May.
Right. Okay. So let me take you back to graduation day. I know it was different because of COVID, but again, our students right now might feel a similar thing. We don't know what graduation will look like yet. Can you just talk a little bit about, like, what was that day like? What were you thinking? How did you feel? And then we'll talk about a little more about the job after that. But can you just sort of, flash back to graduation week, graduation day, sort of where did you watch graduation? Did you watch graduation? Just, can you share a little bit about that day?
Right. So we had a separate seminar with the Hart School because I'm part of the Hart School. We had a whole seminar by ourselves for graduation, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't enthusiastic about it, because we had 2 months of online school, and then they told us that graduation was canceled.
Right.
So on graduation day, I think I had just finished my last final exam about a week before. When I finished my final exam, that last final exam, I was jumping up in the air. I was so excited, finished 4 years of college, all that hard work.
Sure.
But on graduation day, the day I would have graduated, I think it was May 7th, I didn't really feel any type of enthusiasm. I just kind of felt like, well, I'm done now. But yeah, I mean, we had the talk with the Hart School, so that was some nice closure. But yeah, I think it would have been a lot different if we weren't in the middle of the pandemic.
Sure. So then there, you knew you had an internship, right? Did you already know at that point you had the internship?
Yeah, I knew I had it back in October of my senior year. So October of 2019.
So you knew you had a job for the summer, but you didn't know after that.
Right.
So talk through what that sort of felt like. I mean, are you looking around at all your friends and they're like, oh, I have my job and I have this job and I'm moving here and I'm moving there. And you're like, I have an internship and I think it's going to be great, but I don't know. I mean, can you talk about that? Because one of the things that I think the stories we're going to hear a lot is everyone assumes that everybody's got everything figured out before they graduate. And the truth is almost no one has everything worked out when they graduate. So again, we're gonna have a lot of seniors that are gonna listen to this, and they're gonna be hearing about their friend that got a job at this place or that place, and they're moving here. It sounds like for you, a lot was still kind of up in the air. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Right. So I think to go off of one spectrum, I have a really good friend who is working in Philadelphia right now. So he had a job in the fall of my senior year. So that's one end of the spectrum. And then I have a friend who actually graduated a little early. He graduated in December of 2020 or December of 2019.
Right.
And he doesn't have a job right now. So I had some friends who had a job before we even graduated. And then I had some friends who were still looking for work fall of 2020. So I think as humans, we just tend to get stuck in this comparison game. And I felt a little bit of that too. In June, I was thinking, oh man, I really have to have a job by August when this is over, because I gotta go somewhere,
Right,
and
right.
ultimately, I think that there's nothing to stress about or worry about, because wherever you're at, you're growing individually to be prepared for whatever's next. So however long that takes, you should just rejoice in that growth that's right in front of you. I think no matter what you do in life, you're always going to be thinking about what's next, but a lot of people struggle to rejoice in what's going on right now. And I felt a little bit of that too when I started this year-long internship, because when they offered me the year-long internship, I felt very relieved. It gave me a whole other year to find a little more stable work and move somewhere else. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you just gotta trust that you'll have the best opportunity laid out for you, and just focus on what's going on right now. Because I was looking ahead in the fall. I was trying to find a job for when I finished this internship, but just gotta rejoice with the people who are around you right now.
Yeah, and Joseph, I've always appreciated your attitude with that of, since I've known you, at least, you've always been sort of embrace the moment, get as much out of the moment as you can, that you need to think about the future, but you shouldn't get obsessed with the future or sit around and waste your time on the past.
Right.
I really appreciate that thinking. I will ask you to go back in the past for a second and think through. So we're 3 days shy of 9 months since you graduated. So I just did that math real quick. And I'm wondering for you, I want you to, for a second, pretend like I'm you on graduation day. What would you want to tell me that you've learned, or that if it could be mistakes, it could be lessons learned, it could be whatever, what do you wish someone would tell you on May 7th, 2020 that you know now?
Yeah. I guess to really seize the day, because in college you can feel this sense of security, and you are surrounded by all of your peers in college and you're comfortable.
Right.
But once you get out of college, the world starts coming at you, and I've realized that the most important thing for me to do is seize every single day. So whatever I want to accomplish today, I have to make time for it, because I'm preparing for a better tomorrow, and I'm preparing for my future family. And I think ultimately what I would tell myself is to be decisive, be confident, and have a vision, and always be focused on what that is. And when I say that you should rejoice in the moment, not be worried about the future, I don't mean don't do anything. I mean, be ready to act when that opportunity comes.
Right.
But in order to be your best self, I think that it's so essential to make the most out of every day, because the worst thing you can do, I think, is just lose focus on the significance of each day. Each day carries a lot of power. So
yeah. No, that's great. And I also think one of the things you said earlier plays into that. When you're spending all your time comparing to other people, you're not making the most of your own experience in the day. I think about, in my email right now, I have I'm trying to find the quote right now. I say, it's from Whitney English: anticipating tragedy doesn't protect us from it. It just robs us of the joy we could be experiencing right now. And I think that so many people are waiting for the next bad thing to happen, or waiting for, when a good thing happens, oh my God, what's the bad thing now? Right. You're missing the great thing in front of you, the great thing in your life. If you were spending your whole time saying, I don't know if this internship is what I should be doing, well, then you're not getting the most out of this internship. You're not giving to the kids that are there at the level that I know you want to, because you're wondering if you're doing enough, or how you compare to all your friends from college, instead of living fully the day that you're in.
Yeah, no, I could not agree more with that. I mean, so often it's easy to look ahead and just be like, oh, well, something's better than this. But I also want to share something that Jordan Peterson said. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he said, there's always going to be someone better. There's always going to be someone more talented, more skilled. But at the end of the day, you just have to focus on your mission, because if you're going to compare yourself, you're going to rob yourself of joy.
Sure.
And envy crushes the bones. So
yeah, I think I don't remember who said it, but comparison is the thief of joy. Is one that I've always liked. And I think going off that too, I think no one can be a better you than you. That kind of a thing that you're trying to be other people. It's like, no, you're you. If you can be that and focus on that, you'll go a lot farther with that. Let me ask you, how about connections to JMU? Like, how have you stayed in touch with friends? Have those relationships continued? I know for a lot of students, they graduate and they're used to living in the same places with people. They're used to, you can walk up the street or down the hall or whatever, and you see your 12 friends. That's harder once you graduate, right? Because you're not living near probably any of your JMU friends now. Have you stayed in touch? If you have, how's that? How have you done it? If you haven't, how's that? How do you feel about that? Just talk about the friendships that you built here and what role they're playing in your life now.
For sure. So there's some friends, obviously, who I went to school with, who I've reached out to since I've been out of college, and it's just kind of faded away, which is expected. But I've also had many people who I've been calling on a consistent basis. Some of them are still in school right now. Some of them were at JMU and aren't there anymore, but they're still in Harrisonburg. So, for example, I went to Harrisonburg for my friend's wedding over New Year's, and I was able to meet up with a whole group of friends that I knew from college. Nice. Because I had been staying in touch with them from the summer up until that point. And I still reach out to them as well. But yeah, there's a few people who are going to JMU right now that I stay in contact with about once every week or two. And then, I have some friends who I graduated with who I'll reach out to every once in a while. But I don't ever want to let some of these friends go, because I've realized another thing, just as someone who's been out of college for as long as I have now, I've noticed that you really find out who your true friends are when you leave college, because you're not surrounded by these people every day. And if they really want to invest in the friendship with you, you'll notice. And a lot of people, it just doesn't work out. They just move on, which is fine. People move on.
Yeah, it's part of life. Yeah. All right, Joseph, last question. What are the 3 to 5 things that you would say are the biggest differences between JMU life and adult life?
So the biggest difference for me living here in this small town is the community. I don't really see many people, especially many people my age. So I had to get a second job to just meet more people. Also, it was slow here at the camp. So right. I just had so much extra time on my hands.
Right.
Another difference is you have time to do what you want to do. So a lot of times in school, you'll have to do assignments and projects and kinds of stuff that you don't want to do. But now you have this extra time, and you can do hobbies and interests, and you can take trips and whatnot. Another difference is the age range. So I interact with people from 8th grade to in their 60s.
Right.
When I was at college, I interacted with 18 to 25-year-olds.
Right.
And then another difference I would say is probably the flexibility. I think that I'm not as flexible now. Like, I can't just get up and go get lunch with somebody. Like, I have to talk to my supervisor, or I have to plan it out. When I was at JMU, I could just call somebody and be like, hey, you want to go get lunch?
Yep.
And go get lunch. But yeah, those are some big differences for sure.
Yeah, interesting. So Joseph, any other final words, advice, if you were sitting on the stage for graduation 2021 in May, is there anything you'd want to say to the class? I mean, you've given some great advice here already, but just last thing, anything else on your mind, or if you want to give I'm standing in front of the class of 2021 as they graduate into the pandemic, anything you'd want to tell them?
First and foremost, I would like to say that I'm humbled and honored and have to praise the God of Israel for this experience. So, number one, just very grateful. But two, just keep on focusing on one day at a time and set your mind on the things that you want to do today, because there's always going to be another day, but does that day really come, or is it just this day? So just focus on what's going on right now. Okay. One breath at a time.
Yes, I love it. Well, Joseph, it's great to catch up with you. Thanks for making the time to be part of the Alumni Rebound podcast. This will go up next week, so hopefully you'll see it and you can share it with friends and family. And I appreciate your wise words today. They're very helpful for the next generation coming out of JMU, so I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Tim Miller. Appreciate you.